Hi, I'm Susan Odell. Welcome to the Foodell Kitchen. Pots and pans, obviously one of the most important things you need to stock your kitchen with, but where do you start? A lot of people ask, should I buy a set? Should I buy individual pieces? And the answer is probably a little bit of both. Let's have a look at what I think are the basic pots and pans that you need to start with. This is a frying pan, one of the most basic things you need for your kitchen in terms of pots and pans. A frying pan, also known as a skillet, so when you see that in a recipe, a skillet and a frying pan are the same thing, is known by having a very wide mouth on it and shallow sides. Typically they flare out a little bit. You're going to make things in here like frying eggs, bacon, that sort of thing, maybe cooking meats, searing fish, things that you don't want to absorb a lot of steam because the steam is just going to evaporate very quickly. I like to have a variety of sizes depending on how many people you typically cook for. It comes in, this is a really small one, 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch. Go as big as you need. Make it easy for yourself. If you cook for a lot of people, have one big one. If you sometimes just cook for the two of you or one of you, have a small one as well. And just a quick word about coatings. This is a non-stick coated pan, and this has no non-stick coating. Either one will work well. The non-stick is particularly handy if you're cooking eggs and other things that like to stick to the pan. It makes for easy cleanup. Most non-stick cookware has a Teflon coating on it, which is a petroleum-based product, and at very high temperatures it will give off some toxic fumes. You probably won't do that, but to avoid that, there are some cookware lines that are coming out that don't use Teflon or anything like Teflon. For example, Cuisinart has a green gourmet line that uses an enamel-based coating for their nonstick rather than petroleum-based. So have a look around. There's new things coming out all the time, but one nonstick pan is always a good idea. The next pan that you ought to think about adding to your culinary arsenal is a saute pan. A saute pan differs from a frying pan in that it's got deeper sides. You can put more liquid and more food inside, and it's also going to allow for more steaming. So if you're cooking a big batch of vegetables, or you're steaming onions or caramelizing onions, you're sauteing things together. Saute means to jump, by the way. That means that when you do this and all the food comes up, you've seen it on the Food Network all the time. Saute means to jump. That's what this pan allows you for. You can put a lot of food in it and keep it moving in the pan to get it nice and soft and cooked and evenly browned. A saute pan typically will also have a little handle on the outside because you're going to have a lot of food in there that helps you transport it from either the stovetop to the oven or to the table or just to the sink to wash it. Comes in a variety of sizes. Once again, love having a big one and a regular one that I use almost every day. Big one I use for company when I'm making a big batch of risotto or something truly yummy. And look for ones that also have a lid. Almost all saute pans come with a lid. This beautiful pot is typically referred to as a Dutch oven, and it is really typically used for braising or things that you're going to cook a long time in liquid. Think making a beautiful stew that's going to sit on the stovetop while you get it started, and then it's going to go in the oven and cook for hours and hours. This is an enamel coated cast iron. It's very heavy, but cast iron is a fabulous conductor of heat, as is copper, as is anodized aluminum, stainless steel. Those are really good conductors of heat, so a good enamel-coated cast iron not only is a good conductor of heat, but it's non-stick. So you've got the enamel on the inside, you can cook a lot of things in there and have easy cleanup. The only thing you need to think about is being a little careful with it. The enamel that's white on the inside won't brown as well. Foods won't brown as well with a light-colored interior as they do with a dark-colored interior, and it may chip over time. So treat it well and you'll get good results. Saucepans are the real workhorse of your kitchen cookware. Saucepans are known for their tall sides and their big sturdy handle. You're going to make just about everything in here. Mostly saucy things like soups, sauces. You're going to melt butter in your small ones. You're going to cook rice in your big ones. You're going to do all kinds of things. So have a variety of sizes. If you buy a set of cookware, it will typically come with 2, maybe 3 different sizes already. Start with that and then augment your set with another size depending on how many people you're cooking for and what you feel that you use the most. Most saucepans come with a lid, although some lids fit multiple pans, so you don't necessarily need one lid for each pan. Look for handles, by the way, that are riveted into the cookware. That way they'll be nice and sturdy. When you're holding something heavy, it won't be wobbly, and your handles will last a long time. I've used this All-Clad cookware, All-Clad LTD, for a long time, many years. You can probably tell it's well used and well loved. It's a really good brand. It's expensive, but I've found it well worth it because I've used it for years and I plan to use it for many more years to come. This is a double boiler. I would consider it a nice-to-have pan, not a must-have pan. If you do a lot of custards or melt a lot of chocolate, it's really important to have around because it's a gentle cooking method. You put water in the bottom part of the pan, you put your ingredients, maybe your chocolate chips, in the top of your pan, you place it over the water and it gently simmers and melts. So for things that need a little extra care and attention, a double boiler is a nice-to-have pan. But you can make your own double boiler by taking one of your existing saucepans and just placing a bowl right over the top. Just make sure the bottom of your bowl doesn't touch the water and you will have your own homemade double boiler. Last but not least, you need a big pot, and this is for cooking for a crowd or just making a large quantity of something. If you're going to cook and something that's freezable like soup or chili or stock, make a big batch and then freeze it and you'll have it all year long to enjoy. This is a Le Creuset pot, which is a beautiful brand. It is enamel coated like the other pot we talked about, but this is enamel coated steel rather than cast iron. If it were cast iron, I probably wouldn't be able to lift it. Steel's a little bit lighter. I use this for making definitely soups and stocks, but you can also boil pasta in here. So if you're cooking for a crowd, if you ever cook for a crowd, or if you like to cook large quantities and freeze them for later use, definitely have a big pot on hand. Now, if you've never cooked before, you're not going to start out having all of this cookware on day one. Start by buying a set. You get your best value by buying a cookware set. But before you buy, make sure that you like the pots and pans that are in that set. There's always going to be one that might not be exactly what you need, but you'll probably end up using it. So buy the set that most closely resembles the way you cook and how many people you cook for, and then look for pots and pans that you can fill in and create your own ultimate personalized set. Bon appetit!
Pots and pans?
Could you hear that?